All right. Well, welcome back to I'm Glad You Asked. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. I'm Bianca Ariel, business coach and the creator of the Creator Calling course.
And I am Dominique Rice. I am the founder of Dominique Rice Consulting and former nanny agency owner, as well as co owner of Influence with my dear friend, Bianca Ariel.
I'm so excited with Influence. So, listening to Grant Cardone and the conversation that we had with Influence today, I feel like it's really gonna happen, and he's very inspiring, and I like for sure. He's like, you gotta do it, and like all of his conversations are around going through like adversity.
Yeah.
So what everything that's going on right now, like what's gonna make us different is the fact that we're continuing to do something that people are gonna naturally try to pull away from. So I'm excited. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm really excited. So, why don't we tell them a little bit what Influence is, and maybe we can share a little bit about it today. We haven't actually touched on exactly what Influence is. So, um, for those of you who don't know, Bianca and I met in South Africa in January 2019, so about a year and a half ago. We were a part of a travel company where we traveled together with groups of professionals, and we met there. We had a wonderful time, and then we went to Morocco together with the group as well, and we just really got to get to know each other. We've been inspired by each other and members of the group. And Bianca and I came up with the concept of let's create an opportunity for women who maybe can't travel for months at a time, but still deserve the opportunity to travel in style to luxurious places that you would never imagine going, like bucket list stuff. So we cultivated a travel company called Influence, and as the story making of a company that's going to be so fabulous, we had some early onset adversity, I would call it, with COVID-19. We have been unable to launch due to travel constraints, uncertainties, but now that we're coming down from this, we are developing plans, incorporating other insurance components, changing the pricing structure. And so we're looking to have a launch, I would say, within the next month or so. So we're really excited to bring Influence, our baby, out to the world to share.
Yes, I'm super, super excited. Um, I think it's going to be a great trip. I love the plan that we put together. So, I'm excited. And it's going to sell out fast because we definitely cut the trip down a little shorter than anticipated, but we think it's a really good outline, a great villa. So, I'm excited.
It's phenomenal. And so part of what Bianca and I have done, and I would love to share this with entrepreneurs and those listening to us, is that we are looking to cut the price point down substantially. So we went to our villas, we went to the people who are planning activities for us, and we're like, hey, listen, we need bottom dollar because we know the market has shifted. So we need to be competitive with rates to offer our travelers. So in order to do so, we need to come to you for you to give us your bottom dollar rate for the villa that we enjoy. And so today we put on our negotiation hats and we went in there and did the damn thing, and it went phenomenal. So,
It did. It
that's
really did.
really exciting. So
And part of it is like you need to know your market, understand your market, and do your research. Because we had an alternative that we were able to present to them, and show them and demonstrate that listen, the market has changed and you're going to have to be a little bit flexible. So I think the negotiation went well, and we're going to meet again on Wednesday, and hopefully we can get launched and sold out. I'm
that's right. So we're gonna share the information with Influent below. So if you or anyone you know is looking to go to South Africa, amazing villa, amazing black car service, like it's an all around amazing trip. Check us out, reach out to us. We'll be scheduling some calls coming up in the next month, sharing about what we're doing, how to be a part, how to become a member. You must be a member to travel with us. It's very, very, very exclusive. It's exclusive and inclusive. You know, we include those who mesh with everyone because we want it to be a trip where everyone can enjoy themselves, but it's also exclusive because how many women get to just enjoy South Africa, and how many women get the opportunity to live in villas with their friends, and like it's so exclusive and it's so dope, and we have photographers, so you get all those amazing photos, and
You better sell this trip, girl.
I mean, I'm excited.
I'm super excited. Like I cannot wait to go. Like I cannot wait to do it. And it's gonna be February 2021.
Yeah.
So that is the dates that we're reserving. So, I think it's more than enough time to kind of plan out exactly what we need to do and what you guys need to do to make sure that you're able to join us. And we do think it's an extension amount of time to where the travel industry is going to start to pick up. We had the discussion with the Villa, our Villa connection earlier today, and she had advised that people are starting to rebook. So we're confident that we're going to make this come to fruition.
For sure. And the biggest thing with us and with Bianca and I is safety and security. So we want you to feel safe and confident traveling and safe booking. And so we're putting together a 100% money back traveler's insurance policy for all guests. So
Mhm.
that way it gives everyone peace of mind, including us, including the villa, that we have that kind of coverage. So we're super excited to bring that to you all and keep you posted with Influence. You can also follow us on Instagram as well. So stay tuned for that. So Bianca, tell me about your week. How have you been?
I can't complain. Like I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful. Really am starting to master the art of kind of staying centered and balanced and being able to kind of pivot as necessary. So there's actually a lot of opportunities that have come my way that I've actually had to put on the back burner. And as I was reading Cardone's book, he was like, you have to say yes to opportunities. You have to say yes to opportunities. And he was describing different events that he said yes to that didn't necessarily align with his brand, just to start putting your name out there. And I think that my logic is a little bit different as far as, what I'm accepting and what I'm not, but I understand his perspective as well. But I shift gears a little bit. So I started working extensively on LinkedIn. Because I primarily work with professional women, I just tend to see a market that I'm able to navigate on the LinkedIn sector versus the Instagram sector. So that was something that I was frustrated with. I'm actually our first hire is going to be a social media expert. I definitely think that if we're able to kind of just create what we need to create and then dispense it to someone else, that's going to be our next hire. Because even though I understand the concepts, I'm definitely able to teach the concepts. It's very time consuming, and I have to really formulate my energy into just driven activities that's going to help me secure clients. So I understand that my personal Instagram is a great way to start because those are the initial people that I have connections with. But I think LinkedIn is ultimately going to be where I need to start creating longevity. So I've been lurking on LinkedIn this week and kind of connecting with people, introducing myself, letting them know who I am, also connecting with people that I used to work with in the past, having them write recommendations out on my profile to start building social proof. And it's actually worked out well. So I was able to schedule a couple of appointments that are actually coming up on Thursday
Yes.
by using LinkedIn. So I really love it. I reached out to Dominique during the week and was like, I had a couple people booked on my schedule, and I wasn't able. And so when I'm getting ready for our calls, they either want to reschedule or they'll forget all about it. And so I think my calendar is a little bit more fluid than necessary. I think in order to respect my time, I'm going to have to shorten the time frame for when they're able to book a call. So I extended my call list to actually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday so that they can reach out a little bit quicker than maybe waiting a whole week in order to reach out and talk to me. So that's kind of something that she worked through, and I think it's working fairly well. So we'll see. And then I'm actually preparing because I have a mastermind or group coaching session that's launching on May 23rd. So I'm kind of getting all of my material together for that.
And with that group coaching, are you still accepting any more participants, or is it full?
So for May 23rd, I have space for 2 more people,
Okay, so just
unless
2
they're
more.
interested. Yeah, unless they're interested in private coaching.
Okay.
But other than that, my new dates for June is actually going to be starting June 6th and June 20th. So that's kind of like if you go on to schedule a discovery session with me, you'll see that the new dates have been implemented on there.
But it's not too late to get in for the May. So, act now if that's something you're interested in doing. It's definitely not too late, and there's only 2 spots left. So, yeah, I would love to see you fill those 2 spots up. And it's really remarkable, this course. So, if you have, like I tell people, schedule a consultation. If you have questions, I have friends and family who have done consultations with Bianca, and and this course is phenomenal. So sorry, B, to interrupt you. I just wanted to
thank you. Yes, so that's it. How's your week been?
So it's been a week. So to kind of touch on the Grant Cardone book. So first of all, did you finish the book?
I'm on chapter 23, so I don't know how far I have left.
You're at the end. That's the last chapter. It really tricked a real player, okay? Because
okay.
Girl, I set my stage today. I went to this little park area, put down my blanket. Like, I'm like, I got 20%. I had 79% of the book read. I was like, I'm gonna like lay out and read. Girl, chapter 23 is the last chapter. The rest is just like the bibliography and like like definitions and stuff. So like you're literally like on the last chapter. I didn't even know it.
Okay.
So I was kind of disappointed because I was like, I wasn't done.
Yeah, it's a lot of good information, right? It's a lot of a plethora of information, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm excited for our next book, but yeah, I wasn't ready. I set my stage to read, and then I'm like, it's over. Okay. I could have done that at home, but all right. But one thing so I love Grant Cardone. I truly do. I think he's an amazing salesperson. I love the book. My biggest thing about the book, being a Black woman, is that, and especially a former workaholic, because when I first started my business when I was 22, so in 2012, I didn't go out to eat on work nights. I mean, like, I don't even know who I was. Like, I was a hustle robot, business money making machine. But that left little time for balance. And so the one thing about the 10X is that, he doesn't speak of balance. And as a woman, especially as a Black woman, like, I believe in energy, I believe in the universe, I believe in God. So like, I believe, like, at the end of the day, what's for me is for me. So I believe in working hard, but I also don't want to take on that role of I have to hustle, 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 or I won't be okay. Because the reality is God is going to provide, and what's for me is for me. So that's cute. And I'm going to work harder, I'm going to work smarter, and I'm going to take a lot of those principles, but I'm not going to live my life where I can't, be feminine and have flexibility and focus on myself and my mental space.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So his style reminds me a lot of you. Like, he's like, look, you know me, I'm like, yeah, I have a slot May 23rd, but then I'm gonna move to June. You know what I mean? I'm more of like, I'm gonna attract whoever belongs and then move forward. I used to be the same way. I used to be like, I'm hustling, I'm grinding, I'm gonna make one more call. You gotta make all your cold calls, you gotta hit your numbers, which is still true. This is all things that you still have to do in order to make money. So those concepts are already instilled in us. Though that's how we roll. Like, that's how we roll. But I think our energy is more balanced. While we have that inside of us, we still understand the universe and what's supposed to be and what we need to attract, and therefore we don't have to display that type of go 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 personality all the time. It's very draining. It's very draining. And especially in the type of work that we do, where we don't have a script, where we're just trying to book calls all day. We're actually booking the calls, talking to potential clients, and we have to coach and consult them. So that's a lot of energy that we want to preserve and have for our clients as well. So I don't think that that personality is going to be conducive to what we do on a daily basis. But again, that's just with whatever your working style is.
I agree. And so for me, the reason why, like, I love the book and I definitely can find areas I can improve in. Um, but I also have, I had a really hard time, like mentally, like not hitting my goals would cause major mental crisis for me. And it became that my work was my sense of success and my sense of value for who I am as a person. And one of my friends, she's a yoga instructor, and her name is Tia, and she's phenomenal. And she led a circle one day, and she said that, and I'm paraphrasing, that the need for productivity and the need for success and valuing your success by, you know, your productivity is a form of like white supremacy. So like, it's
Mm.
very kind of triggering for some people to even hear that. But like what she explained was like, as slaves, we were made to just work until you die, work yourself down. And, that's not how a human is made. A human is made to flow through the day and to work hard and to work on what they're good at too, and work on what they enjoy. And so by hearing that, I think that was the first thing that I heard that made me want to sell my company, actually. That was like
Oh,
the
really?
mindset of like, you know what? Like, I can never be free if I'm a slave to my work.
Mm. Now, can you have that mentality when you truly, truly enjoy what you do?
I so because if you're enjoying what you're doing, you're not working yourself to death. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you're working at a speed that you're enjoying doing work. Like there are times where I work when I travel, as does Bianca. Like we work. I'm gonna be a nomad as soon as the world opens up. Like I'm going somewhere for a month to get myself together.
Girl,
But
why was I talking to the US Embassy yesterday?
like where can we go?
Like
Like
I
when
was
can
like, I have a whole ass appointment with the Los Angeles US Embassy. Like I gotta talk to them. We gotta work something out. But go ahead.
like free me? Tell them
Yeah.
free me. I think when you're working on something that you're passionate about, it's not work. So sometimes, like when I'm with my family, especially my grandmother, who she doesn't know, she's like, "Oh, you're always on that darn computer. You just work so hard." I'm like, I'm actually like loving the task that I'm doing right now, and I'm like genuinely like, it's like watching TV for me. You know what I mean? Like for you, you think I'm working, but for me, this is like a hobby. Like when I'm helping businesses scale, like it's a hobby putting together their action plan, not something that so I wake up every day excited to put together action plans.
And I want to talk more about your action plans, kind of what your thought process is, what goes on to it, and things like that. But before we go on to that, I just want to kind of cover a couple points that I took from the book.
Oh,
So
what?
one of the things that I did enjoy about his philosophy is setting your goal 10 times bigger than you think they should be. And I think that's important because we underestimate how much adversity we're going to go through when trying to achieve the goals. And another concept that he was reiterating was when we're writing our goals, not to downplay them. Like if your target is to make $1 million, then don't make your target $100,000. Because I think
Correct.
that we scale down our goals in order to make it more realistic. And I know for me, because I'm more logic when it comes to business. Now, personal, we'll just talk about that another time. But when it comes to business, I'm very logical and I always want to know, okay, so how am I going to get here? So this is the plan. And a lot of his philosophy was like, take action. Take action, take action. You can plan as you go. Now, I don't believe that 100%. I do believe that you have to have some type of roadmap, but the point is you have to be fluid. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work out, essentially how you structured it, you need to be able to pivot strategically. But I do believe in not being over obsessive with a plan and going ahead and just taking action and then building as you go. So again, you do have to create that type of balance. Now, another thing that I wanted to discuss with you that he was speaking of was networking. The fact that he said he does not recommend networking below you, networking next to you.
He says, reach up.
He said, reach up. Now, I absolutely agree with that theory. However, I do think that it's important for us to connect laterally, especially in our culture, especially with our culture. Because if we're always chasing someone that seems to be above us, we are losing out on a lot of opportunities with our brothers and sisters that are right next to us. And I think in our culture, we really need to, we don't have that connection, and we need to really work and build on that. I really do.
I agree with that. And to kind of add on to that, it's like some things, if you read the book that he's done, are things that, in my opinion, only a white man could do. You know, and I think it's right where you are in the book, actually, when he's trying to pitch his reality show and he like just busts up on people, or he gets someone to record a 3-minute snippet of him for free because he was at a convention. Like, you know, certain things like, wait, so there's just a camera crew there and you're like, hey, record me for 3 minutes and send that to me. Like, you know, that can happen. You know, we've been blessed in so many opportunities. It just aligned. Or him reaching out and contacting someone, using someone else's contact to just call straight to producers in LA. You know, certain things like as a white man, I feel like he was really able to do. Another thing, as a white man, in his leadership style, which is very similar to mine, which was not effective for me. I will be honest, because I love to say what I'm not good at, is like, he's like, here's a plan, figure it out, do it. 2020, people just don't rock well with that. They just don't. So I would love to see how he trains his staff. I would love to see the innovative people he works with. I'm going to watch some more of his videos online. But I love to see like how he hires people who just rock like that, and how you hire from the beginning, because so many people have a hard time with visionaries and working for visionaries because they can't get it. So how do you hire people who are willing to work for you, that get it, that are able to follow the vision, because they have to be some kind of visionaries themselves for them to blindly follow a vision, even if it works, you know, like then he comes up with another idea tomorrow and you just got to adapt, which I feel like as an entrepreneur is the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I do agree with some of your concepts. There's, you know, we really talk about culture adds a lot, and frankly, a lot of people that are going to be attracted to you are going to be the people that look like you. So when he's standing at the door waving, talking about, you know, this guy needs to come shake my hand, you know, immediately that's someone that he can connect with, because that's someone that looks like him. Now, being a previous sales representative, I will say that you got to do things that like that, what he was talking about. So for example, so in the book, he's saying that someone saw a YouTube video and reached out to him and said, we're looking for a TV show and we thought that you would be a perfect candidate for it. And he said, yeah, absolutely, I am. What has taken you so long? Well, they're like, you know, we just wanted to talk to you about it. We'll get back to you. As a sales representative, we don't wait for people to get back to us. We continue to follow up with them. In fact, we want to know who's the decision maker. Now, who can I speak to? Oh, absolutely. Who can I expect a call from? We're asking that because we're going to call them. And then when we're on the phone with them and they know, and we're trying to organize a meeting for them, we don't let them decide, okay, well, let's talk about it. No, I'm actually going to be in New York, so I would love to go ahead and meet up with you. And even after he did all of that, he was there. When we're in a situation where we have sacrificed all of this time and energy to put ourselves in front of the decision maker, we don't leave until we talk to the decision maker. I used to be in situations where I drove from Los Angeles to San Diego, and it was to the point where I was like, okay, I don't live here, so I understand she's busy. I have plenty of time. I have to drive back in traffic. I will sit here and wait. And you have to be uncomfortable. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's not easy to do. It's not easy to sit in front of the gatekeeper. But at the end of the day, we have to understand they're the gatekeeper. Okay, they're going back. Their job is to tell you no. Their job is to tell you no. And your job is to sit your ass there and wait until you speak with the key decision maker. Now, that's when his personality is instilled with me, because I completely understand that perspective. It's about how far you're willing to go. right? Within parameters, but it's about how far you're willing to go.
I agree with that. And the reality is that there's a lot of people who are very lazy. So if you're willing to go, you know, even if you're not even going 10 times harder, there's a lot of people who aren't even hit. If this is where they're supposed to be, they're really right here, hovering
Mhm.
over getting and breaking that ceiling. And so that's a mindset. And that's why he's saying that 10 times, that 10x, keep going higher, because even if you just reach where you need to be, you're where you want to be anyways. So if your aim is so high, they say, reach for the moon. If you fail, you'll land on the stars. That's basically the
Mhm.
concept of the book. And so I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm excited. I definitely want to continue to read a similar book to that. I want to get another book going, to keep that momentum going.
Okay.
So I'm really going to look forward to another book.
I love it. We got to figure out what that's going to be.
For sure. So what else you got going on, B?
So tomorrow I'm doing a webinar.
Okay. What time is that?
So I believe it's at 7 p.m. EST time. So
Okay,
right
so right
before
before.
our show drops.
Okay.
So, but I'm going to do a webinar tomorrow, and they sent me over some preliminary questions. So I kind of wanted to talk through maybe 2 questions,
Okay.
because I thought they were really actually something that could help our audience as well. So basically the webinar is about how to help entrepreneurs and small businesses with the change and with everything that's going on with COVID-19 and the pandemic. Okay. So one of the questions that was sent to me was, I have 3 children and lost my job due to COVID-19. The place where I work decided to close permanently. I am terrified. I've always wanted to start a business, but how do I start one during this pandemic? So what are your thoughts on this particular person?
So the first thing, it really depends on their business. I personally believe if it's a low startup company, go for it, mama, because I would, if they came to me, I would definitely create an action plan geared towards sharing her story, geared towards telling people, you know what? I was laid off from my job, and this is what has always been my passion. So, in order to feed my children, in order to keep a roof over our head, I am doing these things, and this is what qualifies me to do these things. So, book me. So I would definitely play the story of like, I'm transitioning, and use that, because there are going to be people who are like, wow, I'm amazed by your resilience, and that you're using your God-given talents to provide for yourself during this time. So if it's a low startup company that she's actually extremely knowledgeable in, for instance, if she was doing that at her job and now she's planning to do it on her own, so you just have to really be knowledgeable. What I hate to see is people jump in and start moonlighting shit that they have no experience doing, trying to make some money, just because I think you can make some money, because you're just wasting energy, and you'll soon be caught. But if you're qualified and you have experience doing what you're doing, and you can deliver, go for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I would need more context in the situation. I need to know what type of business she's looking to start. I need to know what she was doing before. I need to know, what her passions are. Is it a business? Is she trying to get into the business for a particular reason? Or, there's more context that's required. And I just have to put it out there. Not everybody should start a business. Some people should look for another job. You know what I mean?
You know,
So
but let's be honest, it's not easy starting a business. So, like,
it's
if
not.
your work ethic isn't there, and I say all that, like, oh, don't do 10x, don't do that, but you have to have a work ethic. And the biggest thing to being a business owner is you have to have consistency. And if you don't have that consistency and structure that you can put on yourself, you will not be successful. So, B, you are correct.
Yeah, when I'm thinking about risk analysis, and when I see this question, I'm thinking she has 3 children. She lost her job, she's terrified. She's always wanted to start a business, but how do I start one during this pandemic? I think you can start a business during this pandemic. But I also feel like, I need more context, because 3 children, that's risk. Should she start a business and continue to look for a job at the same time? Because a lot of people don't realize you don't have to do, like, you can balance, you could do both. So I definitely think that we need more context. So yeah, I like that. The second question I'm going to ask is, now there was one on here that was about speaking. Let's see. Oh, I'm a motivational speaker who is used to standing in front of large groups of people when speaking. I don't know how to transition to online and be effective. Please share your ideas. Now, I'll answer this first and then I'll let you go. So, if you're used to being a motivational speaker and you're used to standing in front of large groups of people when speaking, I believe that you can be just as effective online. I think that a lot of people, because I'm used to speaking in front of large groups all day, every day, right? I think that you get your energy from your audience. So it may be difficult for people to adjust by going online, but if they can feed off of the energy that they like, if they're using visual platforms in order to look at everybody, it's going to be honestly the same concept. One thing that really inspired me today is I was listening to TD Bishop Jakes, and he was in front of his church, and there was nobody in the what do you call it, the pillars?
Like the sanctuary.
Yeah, there was nobody in the sanctuary. He was preaching to himself, and he had just as much energy, just as much passion. If you are a motivational speaker and this is what you do, it doesn't matter if you're in front of a live audience or if you're going to be virtual. You're going to have to adjust to the new setting, and you are going to be just as effective as you are in front of them. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. And I think that's more so than, I think that's a something that they have to work on mentally. I think they um, enjoy speaking in person. I think they thrive from that. But you
Mhm.
have to focus on what your customer gets from it as well, and how you can pivot in order to help your customer and the person you're speaking to get it. So if you're looking for social clues and things like that, like you said, a webinar, things where you can see people's faces, you can see where they're paying attention, stuff like that. But also knowing your audience, knowing what causes you. You've been a motivational speaker for a while, so you should have a gist of what people want to hear, what people can relate to, what touches people. So that's why, I think it's doable. A lot of times we have a mental mindset on ourselves that we can't do something, similar to someone who, people who like to sell in their shops versus selling online because they like the
Mhm.
connection,
Yeah.
like it's like that's your personal problem, but now you have to resolve that issue to be able to deliver to your customer so you can continue a business.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. Yeah, so those are the questions that I had presented to me for this week. So that's it. I'm good.
I love it. Thank you for sharing those. Those were fun.
Cool. We should definitely incorporate some games.
Right? I
Oh, Dominique, you had a webinar this week. Can you talk about it?
Yes, it was amazing. So this past week, I've done a webinar, and I was on a podcast. Did I talk about the podcast I was on last week?
A little bit last week, but you didn't really talk about much. You didn't talk about it much. Let's
So
start with the webinar because I was on the webinar.
yeah, I love the webinar. I was contracted by a nonprofit to host a webinar about pivoting your business, and it was phenomenal. It's for Black and women of color. So I enjoyed it. I love the energy. One thing that I wish I could have captured in the beginning that was on an error of my own, was I wish I would have gave people the opportunity to connect sooner in the webinar versus towards the end. I feel like a lot of women, could connect with each other a little more, and would have felt more, and really would have felt comfortable sharing if we would have done it in a reverse order. But other than that, I felt like it went so well. They reached out to me and asked me to do another one. So I'll be doing another one in 2 weeks. And it was just such a good time just hearing and inspiring other business owners, and other business owners inspiring me and each other. So I didn't have it as a format where it's like, hear what I have to say.
Mhm.
It's like, well, what are you doing and how can we support you and what are you working on, and just all of those things. And to be able to come together as community, as a authentic, real community, it was beautiful.
Absolutely. And I'm just, as an attendee, I think that you're overanalyzing the situation. I think it went great. I know you're like, well, next time I want to do it this way. Next time I want to do it this way. I understand your concept of wanting people to connect up front. I think maybe an introduction, maybe everybody can go around and say their name and what they do, and so people are familiar with who's on the call. But how she had it structured was, she kind of just gave everybody an opportunity to talk about what they are doing, what their business was, and that's what the conversation is what is how other people were able to communicate and connect on the call as well. So I think the way you structured it was perfect. I think you're overanalyzing it. But I would love if we can get a group of women, women of color, because it's for women of color, right?
Yeah, this particular nonprofit is for women, Black and Indigenous women. And so it's, it was, I was just contracted as the host and to lead this course. So
she did a great job. And she's going to be putting together some masterminds for other women to come together and really network and communicate with each other, because what happens is she's the host of the webinar. So she kind of structures the topic, and then she has great elements that we're able to kind of follow throughout the entire set. But what she also does is gives everybody else an opportunity to share their challenges. And not only is she going to provide her expert advice as a consultant, but you're going to hear other people's advice as well. So then it becomes a community of all of these women coming up with all of these different solutions. So then there's an opportunity for you to opt in to work with Dominique one-on-one, or if you hear a challenge that somebody else is having that you're able to offer, or say, you're selling something and someone else has an opportunity, it needs that and has an opportunity to buy it, then you can do that in a cumulative way on that webinar.
And I'm so excited for that. One thing I started today is I am co-hosting. I haven't even told you this, Bea, because it just stumbled in my lap over the weekend. I'm co-hosting a group. It's 30 days long, and it's a group of women who are on target to make $10,000 in 30 days. So I'm excited. It's mostly Black women. I believe, I don't know everyone in the group, where we have a it's not WhatsApp, that GroupMe app thing. I'm so not technology person. So it's a GroupMe, and this wonderful woman put it together and asked me to be a co-host of the group, and because most of the women haven't made $10,000 in 30 days before. So, just kind of inspiring them, talking about what we're working on. And then it's super fun for me. So
That's super cool.
In just my consulting, not any of my other businesses or anything else, because I think that's not really fair to the group, to when everybody's like doing new kind of more startups. I said, I'm just going to do 10,000 in 30 days simply in consulting. So I'm really excited and excited to connect with other women. So it's going to be a fun 30 days, and it starts today.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to hear more about that. But all right, I'm good. How you feeling?
I feel good. Let's go over our goals that we have for ourselves for the next week.
All right, let's do it.
I'm gonna write mine down. My handy dandy pen. So what you working on, Bea?
All right, so you inspired me by kind of, leveraging or having me stop talking about June and still staying in May. So I'm going to book 2 more clients from the May 23rd start date.
All right, let's go.
So I'm booking 2 more clients. I'm also working on a project for virtual tours in the senior living space. So my goal is to connect with at least 50 decision makers in that space. To kind of leverage what they need and introduce myself and let them know what we have to offer and things like that. So far I'm using Sales Navigator on LinkedIn to connect with them. And then for the individuals that are connecting with me, I'm responding with a follow-up, but it's not just a generic message. I'm really taking the time to go through and look at all their media, look at their website, see if I'm familiar with them, because that's where I have my background in, and then reaching out to them with a organized proposal. So my goal is to execute at least 50 of those by the end of next week.
Okay.
Now, personally, I've been meditating, but it's been very sporadic. I really would like to meditate. And one of the things that I took from the 10X book is that he writes down his goals every morning. And if he goes through a challenge, he'll kind of reread his goals to himself. I really would like to start that. So I'm going to start with writing my goals every morning and meditating. That's, even if it's just for a minute, I would really like to start being consistent with that, just to kind of level set some of like my emotions and balance and center everything out.
I'm gonna steal that one too in terms of writing your goals each day.
Mm-hmm.
So what else you got? Is that what anything else be?
That's my week.
All right. So for me, I'm gonna write my goals every day. And I used to do this religiously. There's a book that I love that's called Get Rich Lucky Bitch.
Okay.
And it's all about.
We're not gonna talk about the other book you're reading.
We're not. I was definitely not gonna bring that up on the show. Okay. But DM me at I am Dominique Rice if you want some of my raunchy private readings. Just send me a DM and I'll send you a list of some fun stuff, ladies. Only.
You know what? I feel like we should be a little bit more fluid on the show, so maybe you'll talk about it one time. I think we should.
Maybe I will. I'm gonna get another one because I don't want to spill all my goodies.
Yeah. Not this one, but I think we should integrate some things that are happening in our personal lives, because we don't want to be, we do want people to get to know us personally as well.
Yeah. Well, once the outside opens up and I'm back to my exciting life of excursions, I'll be willing to share a little more. So just stay tuned.
So we'll have a couple of episodes where we're like, we have some wine and we just talking like straight personal, like what's going on, girl. But go ahead.
I'm actually having a cocktail.
Oh, you are?
This is tequila with bubbly water.
Now, is this keto friendly?
This is 100% keto friendly. There's no carbs in the 1800. I'm drinking 1800. No carbs in 1800, and this is
what about 1942?
Huh?
What about in 1942? Is that keto friendly?
Probably so. Most alcohol is keto friendly. It's just all the mixers and stuff. Y'all, I thought I had a party stamp on my wrist. I got excited. Like, what club was I at? No, it's a little burn from the oven. I said, party stamp.
Right. Where was I? All right. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Okay, so my goals, I'm going to write my goals daily. And I told the ladies to do that too in our group, like just to see them, like, so then it's on your mind all day. One of my friends and I are starting a 21-day meditation and Bible study. Like we read a scripture and meditate on that each day. So we should be starting that this week. So doing that. So I am not a good meditator. I am a high D in terms of the DISC test. My personality is like,
I'm gonna take the DISC test and I'll present my findings next week.
You're not a D. You're probably an F or a C. Look at it. We'll talk. Let's do them and talk about it. Do it for next week and we'll go over it.
Okay. So what's a D for you?
D is like dominant. So my personality is like this. So only 5%.
I feel like I'm really dominant. No? I'm softer.
But you're more of a planner. So dominant to just have like high level overview. And then we need people like you that like iron it out and like, create you have D in you. You have some D. Like
I'm gonna let the test tell me. I'm gonna let the test.
So write my goals daily. I am, in terms of health things, I am focusing on having a keto-friendly diet. So today I've been making keto meals for about the last week. One of my clients is a meal prep service, and so she prepped all my keto meals for this week, which is very low calories because it doesn't have like all the other stuff that I love, like cheese and stuff.
Oh yeah, you gonna drop weight like no cheese, girl.
No, I mean, I'm gonna eat cheese on my other meals, like sometimes I'll make like I made like Brussels sprouts with cheese and heavy whipping cream to really help get my body into ketosis and stuff. But all that was just for breakfast, and then all the rest of my meals didn't have cheese for today. And
Okay.
so I'm not going to restrict myself from drinking, but I'm going to have like bubbly water. And I don't want to even do diet sodas and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So no juices, no things like that. So really focusing this week on having a keto friendly diet, as well as I'm training for a 5K. So my third
Oh,
goal is
okay.
to, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So my third goal is to do that 3 times this week. Um, so those are my 3 goals in terms of write my goals, eat keto friendly, train for my 5K, and then just be consistent with my action plans for my business.
Okay. Love it.
So I wrote all mine down so we can check back next week and see how we've done.
All right, sounds good. All right, everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us with I'm Glad You Asked. If you have any questions for us, I'm going to put the email in the description, and make sure that you subscribe and comment and rate. And thank you.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.